I'm Katrina, this is Tare. Today we're talking about being an official weather observer, official precipitation reporter. Now, while I like to joke that being a weatherman is the only job you can do and get everything wrong every day and still have a job, it's an important one. If you would like to be more involved in your community's immediate reporting, or just you want to know what's happening in your particular yard, then joining CoCoRaHS is a really great idea. CoCoRaHS is Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, and it is something that is beyond our nation. So I believe it started in Colorado. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But it started because of a town that basically got really flooded. They didn't have any advance notice or anything. I don't remember what year this was, but it got started basically because the reports on the news were not telling what was really happening on the ground. So for those that don't already know, and for those that do know, one of the tools people use to predict weather patterns, rain patterns, all of that is the radar. So that's not the only thing they use, but that is a big part of it. Now, radar is literally just picking up something on a radar. Like, it is picking up something. Migrating hummingbirds, which migrate in mass, show up on radar. So I'm not saying you're going to mistake it for a rainstorm. However, radar needs interpretation. So that is why when you look at all the different weather reporters, you may get different predictions. Usually they're going to be about the same, somewhere in the same realm of reality, although sometimes they're not. CoCoRaHS aims to involve citizen science, and what that means is you, like me, can have one of these in your yard, on your property, somewhere where it matters. And it's especially important in communities with lower density that maybe don't have an airport that reports the weather, or don't have like a hospital that reports the weather. Often weather actual reporting happens at a hospital or airport because it matters for like air life, or which is the helicopter that comes and pick you up when you need it. Those often they land on the hospital roof or at the hospital grounds somewhere. And then for airplanes, because they need to know everything that's going on, they need to know wind direction and everything else that has to do with weather. So especially if you do not live near one of those places, which I don't, it can be important for your community to keep track of these things. Now, this is a free program. You just have to buy the rain gauge, because it is an official rain gauge that is extremely accurate, and accurate enough for citizen scientists to be involved. So if you'd like to do this, the rain gauges are available. Whether or not you actually participate in CoCoRaHS is up to you. But if you want a really good rain gauge, these are available at weatheryourway.com. I think it's a .com. Anyway, type in weather like the weather, weather your way, and it'll come up. Now, this tube holds 11 inches of rain. So this is a 4-inch diameter, and then this tube holds 1 inch of rain. So there's math involved, guys. I'm not even going to try and do it. But the amount of rain that falls in this space and fills up this tube, that is an inch of rain. An inch of rain that falls everywhere, basically, that's the inch of rain. Now, things that will distort this are things like if you're under a canopy. So while I have trees around me, I don't have trees above me. It's maybe not the most ideal. I may be moving it. Actually, I might be moving it over there. I may be moving it somewhere else, but another thing is if it's really windy, the wind is going to go sideways and maybe miss this, or maybe instead of rain that would have fallen here, you're going to get rain that would have fallen here, and it's going to go in. So you can get a little bit of interesting readings then, but this has Let me get closer. So there's 1 inch, and you can see it has, these are 1/10 of an inch. So you can get pretty granular, and you can measure down to 0.01 of an inch, which is this first line here. And if it doesn't make it up to that line, it's called a trace. And this helps the weather people to fine-tune their predictions. It helps NOAA. So NOAA is, oh great, National, and OAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric something. Why don't I know this? Association? Is it an association? I don't know. It's a government agency. But NOAA is who does I think they're who does all the radar too. I'm not sure about that. But they're the ones that send out, all the warnings, all of the, flood warnings, hurricane warnings, tornado warnings, storm warnings, frost warnings. Like all of that comes through NOAA. And then it gets filtered through the other, like weather.com and your local news and AccuWeather and all of that. They all get the same data and then do their predictions. But if you predict, so you are not predicting, you are reporting. So for rain, this is 1 inch. It has a little notch in the back. So at 1 inch, it starts to spill over. So like the most recent hurricane, it dumped feet in some places. And the most I've measured was almost 3 inches. It may have been a little more than 3 inches. And that was a few years ago in California. But what you do is this hooks up to a post. It slides in, so that there's a bracket on here. It slides in and out. And I'm gonna fall. I'm on a hill, and this is not the best chair. Hopefully I don't fall. And so you can then pour this into a pitcher and then put it over something and pour it into this so that you can measure it. And you just add it. You just add whatever is in here plus whatever you put in here until you get the number. Now, during storm events, and this is where it can help tremendously, during storm events, really anytime you can do it, but you can do hourly reporting. You can do hourly reporting. You can do like a significant weather. So like, let's say thunder starts or hail starts. You can do those reportings, and you can go on the internet, if you still have internet, and keep track, have people keep track. So if NOAA sees this in enough places, enough things are happening, they can then use on the ground data collected by citizen scientists to send out warnings. And that becomes a really important thing, because what they see on the satellite imagery, what they see on radar, what they see, in the moisture levels is not always what's happening on the ground. So knowing what's actually happening on the ground is important. Now, for winter time, in places it snows, you measure snow differently. This will be my first year measuring snow. If it snows, I'm sure it will. And for that, you take this center tube out and you take this out and you just let it fall in there. For snow reporting, you are reporting the depth. So they actually have a special ruler on that same website. It's in like 1/10 of an inch. It's kind of, or 1/10 of a, I think it's 1/10 of an inch. Anyway, they have a special ruler that you can get. If you don't want to do that, I'm sure you can use a yardstick and convert it yourself. That you can stick into the snow, give the depth, and then you take this and you take what's in here, melt it, then measure it in your tube, and that will give you how much water was in that snow. And that helps people figure out, what's in the snowpack, how much water to expect when the snow melts, all of that information is useful. And then the next day, if there's still snow on the ground, you measure how much new snow, so you clear off an area for that, but how much new snow and how much old snow. So there's a cumulative number and then there's a new number every day. Typically they like you to report around 7 in the morning. If you don't report by 9, your number, while it's still used, is not going to be put on the map. Now that may be old data. That's the data I had when I signed up, which was actually a long time, 11 years ago. 11 years ago. Reporting no data. This is something I struggle with because when it's sunny and there's nothing falling, you kind of forget about it. You can catch up on those, that's okay. But no data is still data. So putting that 0 in is helpful, is important, especially when we get like random storms, like in the, random storms in the summer when it's not supposed to rain, or random storms in a time period where they don't expect it to rain. Because then they can go back and say, okay, let's see what we missed. Okay, here's the indicator, here's the real indicator, here's what we thought was the indicator, and go from there. So hopefully I'm not babbling too much. Anyway, so this is really awesome and actually quite addicting when you actually have a storm go through, because you're reporting all the time. You get to report on the hour every hour, or an hour from when you started to report, and you don't have to do any of this. If you're gone, maybe your neighbor can babysit your rain gauge. My old neighbor did that for me. I just pass it over the fence. Or you can have someone come over and get your data. Or if you are not there and you're not going to, let's say you're going to go on a weekend trip, you can actually report for multiple days when you get back. And there's less data there, it's still data. So you can have a multi-day report and whatever's in there is in there. So it's an interesting thing to do. It's a little more exciting than you think it is going to be. And if you have kids and it's, rainy season, they might, really, really enjoy going out and checking the rain gauge to see how much is there. And this is a huge network. So, I believe the University of Colorado, it's some place in Colorado that manages this, and it's throughout the United States, I believe, Puerto Rico, and I don't know where else, but you can go on the website. I'll put the website in the description. It's CoCoRaHS something. It might be .org. It's probably .org. All right, it is CoCoRaHS.org. So go ahead and join that, get your rain gauge. If it snows where you are, you can get your measuring stick for snow. They also have hail pads. I choose not to do that. Hey, it might change. A hail pad is basically something that dents, and you can measure the dent in it and report that back to them. So if it hails a lot in your area, or like if your area is known for like golf ball size hail sometimes or something like that, then that can be valuable for them. And there's even measurements on hail. Is it white? Is it clear? Is it hard? Is it squishy? Is it more than this size, less than that size? So there's a lot of information you can give, which can be helpful. So I'm going to go inside and show you the website, and then you'll know what it looks like, how to use it, all of that. So let's go inside. Okay, this is the CoCoRaHS website, Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. All these little dots here, are all stations. So a bunch of people reported nothing. And then this is where it rained. This is a 24-hour reporting. 7 in the morning is what you're supposed to do, but you just put down whatever time you check, and it is how you do it. So if you want to join CoCoRaHS, if you want to just look up something, so you can just look up something. So let's go with that one right there. Oh, okay. So we're looking right there, and it gives you the name of the station or the observation, the observation date, observation time, how much it rained, and if there's snow information, you can put it here, and you can actually then look up things by station if you know what station is near you, and all of that. What we're going to do is we're going to sign up. So over on this side on the main menu, right here, join CoCoRaHS. United States, Canada, or Bahamas, multinational. Okay, United States, and you fill out this section. I'm going to fill out this section and get back to you. All right, I just submitted my application. It says thanks for signing up. And I go to my email, and here is the welcome. So it gives you your station number. So your station number has 3 different things. It has a state identifier, a county identifier, and then a number. And the number is the number of stations in your county. So you are the next one that tells you how many there are. So that's pretty cool. You can give people a link to your station. You can tell people which station's yours. You can have, you know, a neighbor a mile down the road. They can have their station. You can have your station. You can compare. It's pretty cool. And once you get into it, you can get into it pretty good, especially in rainy season. So that's how you sign up. And then it's really easy to put the readings in. There's a training. You can do an online training. You can do an in-person training in some places, and they will train you to do all sorts of things. So you can even input data on an app. That is how you do it. I am now signed up again at my new place, and I'm going to start recording the weather here. So, or the precipitation at least. So I encourage you guys to do it with all the crazy weather that we've been having more eyes on the ground, communicating with the people who make the decisions is a better thing. So I thank you for watching. I encourage you to sign up for CoCoRaHS. It is a free thing. It is citizen science, and you do have to pay for the rain gauge. It's yours though. They're not gouging you for it. It does have to be an official thing so that we have a consistency across the board. So thank you for watching. Hope you sign up and enjoy your weather reporting. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.